Future trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tech Talk. I'm Cody. He is Andy. We are actually recording this episode on Thursday, August 29th, about 10:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Central. Andy, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. About
Thursday. This is strange. This is like a weird little thing we got going on here.
It's a weird one. During trading hours, things are moving, so the charts might get a little
dicey. Not the spot charts, but like maybe some of this other stuff we're looking at. It might get a little bit, like it might start flying around.
A little crazy here.
I'm assuming you've been keeping up on the U.S. Open for tennis, and I've been watching it diligently every day.
Yes.
This week and next, by the way.
Right. Backhands, forehands.
Backhands, forehands, volleys, the whole thing. All the hands. Who do you have winning that, by the way?
Big Serena Williams fan.
Big Serena Williams fan? She retired a few years ago, but whatever. That's okay.
I guess I missed that memo.
You missed you? All right. You missed that memo?
You know what's coming up this weekend that I'm really excited for? Football is back, baby. You want to talk about something that I'm pumped for? You got the Big Ten all kind of mixed and mingled this year. I'm excited for that to start. You got SEC games that are rocking and rolling. You had Florida State that lost last week in week 0 of college football over in Ireland. I'm pumped, man. I'm excited.
Well, I'll tell you guess what's going to get eaten a lot during that time?
Cheese.
Probably some cheese. And
absolutely.
You need a good Frito pie recipe, let us know. We can get that to you too. But let's take a quick look at so this one came at request, right? Wisco Phil?
That's right.
Said you chatted with him, said he wanted to take a quick peek at the cheese chart here. This is spot cheese, just the block barrel on average. Super interesting. We got to, 203 and some change, and made that gap. That's where the gap basically started, is where this thing, kind of topped out at. Which, that's super interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Since then, it's been obviously, this is the volatility here. It's just been absurd, right?
Yeah.
We had the big week here, basically retraced almost all of it. Opened on Monday up, to 220, I think it was. We just had like a massive open. The block got into new highs, I think, for this move. The barrel got back to like 225. And then yesterday, they just, what were we down yesterday? I'm having a hard time keeping track of it day to day. 6.5 in the block and down 12.5 in the barrel.
Since you and I did the show last Tuesday, we had 2 limit moves, at least in class 3 on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And then again on Monday.
And it wasn't like it was limit down.
Touch limit down yesterday. Yeah.
Touch limit. Yeah, that's right. October touch limit yesterday. Forget about that. So it's a lot of movement. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of movement. A lot of stuff going on. I guess the thing that sticks out to me here is that you made this gap opened right above here and is still maintaining it, right? And granted, we've had obviously a significant amount of volatility, but this this 3-bar pattern continues to march itself up.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we closed here for the rest of the week, we did nothing today and tomorrow, you'd still be higher from the previous week, right? And just so, I guess the way I interpreted that is that it's almost like an ascending triangle where you're just going to stair step yourself up against like a horizontal line, which isn't quite there, but it's close. And as you just approach like this key area, which I think is, again, like you start talking about like a 220 number, that's kind of like a number that's in the back of people's mind is like, resistance. It's been like that, in the barrel more or less when you start getting over that price. So to me, it's like you stair stepping it up. That's what I think really propels us into the price point we've been talking about for a while, which is basically just completing this flag, right? So you have this move, depending on where you want to have it breaking out from. But I think you can argue right there that takes you to about 240. And coincidentally, that takes you back kind of in this area over here.
Yeah, and I think that was our conversation when we were talking about it. Is 240 cheese still doable, still viable? Mm-hmm. And to your point, just drawing it out here, it looks like it possibly is.
Sure. And, we saw as soon as the market got down to $2, what was that on Friday?
Yep.
Or the Thursday, Friday, 2 sessions in a row. We saw what happened on Monday where it was just like a face ripper. It was clear the market did not want to sit still or, get through $2. It was, met with a lot of buying. But again, think about yesterday. You start talking about 225 barrel type numbers and it's just, sell with both hands. So that's a number we have to clear, obviously, right? And actually get some trade there too. That's the other thing. We really haven't seen a lot of volume changes. It seems like we're moving price around. So, but this is certainly still in the cards. I guess what would, negate that? Your favorite. I think if you go and fill this bad boy, it could be kind of lights out for this move.
Then you got another one that you have circled down there at $1.70, which not say it's impossible, but it's still there.
Yeah. And you have this little guy right here, too. I think you could argue this little dude.
Yep.
So, yeah, we talked about it before. This 185.5 number, that's obviously going to be a key area. You get through that and then open lower the next week. I think these gaps become magnets. Again, it seems like it's still possible for the market to go to 240. Futures have been very reluctant, to build in much of a premium beyond I think like a 210, 215 type number on a cheese equivalent. So we'll see. So futures, it feels like, well, if that's going to be the case, futures will likely lag, that and maintain a bit of a discount up until like you can't mathematically or something. And to learn more about the math, check out Bases Loaded, Joe Schmidt. Do we ever get shout outs?
I don't think so. I've been
Paige
watching.
is shaking her head no.
We should probably get Joe on here. Then maybe we get some love. Maybe a little shout out.
Now you're talking. I don't know. He's hyper focused on the sheet and all that stuff. And he also has a face for radio. You didn't hear me say that. All right. So that's spot cheese. Next up, Frito pies and potentially 240.
Ooh.
You wanted to take a quick peek at another one that we've already looked at, I believe, last week.
We did. Nonfat.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
What did we call it last week? I think the sleeper of the dairy market right now.
Sleeper of the dairy market, spot Nonfat.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, too, you're getting futures trade out well forward into the 135s. This is just the board real fast, but in the 136s, and seeing some activity in some of these packs too. Jan to March, April to June. So, and it's all prices north of this cash price.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is that, again, broke out of the big downtrend, had a higher low here relative to here, or here relative to here, excuse me. And then you had this double top that we got through, right? So those are all signs of strength. And we just keep kind of stair-stepping and inching ourselves up. So we've had this retracement piece up here for a while. And again, I think, it's not that far away anymore, right? It's another 7 cents, 8 cents, and you've retraced a third of this move. I think it's possible for us to retrace half this move and go to 140, a 140 plus type number.
Also, I'm glad you still had it on there because I have in my notes from last week, we were talking 140 to 145, and it's still, on the chart that we talked about on last week, and looks like it's very doable.
Yeah. And, we've seen markets where they consolidate for a while and you build a nice base, and that's a nice way to kind of get at least retrace a substantial portion of a move.
Yeah.
Right, over a longer period of time. I think corn did that over several years where it consolidated and then just ripped.
Right.
So I think we've got the same coming in hot for Nonfat. I don't think we just go parabolic and just go see a candle like this or something, like two candles like this. I think it's more like these kind of guys, and maybe you get like a week or two of this and just a nice steady trend. But I do think the next stop is in between this 38% and 50%. So
all right.
Last one, also at request, Tiffany, Tip Dog.
Yep.
What's going on?
Oh, Tiffany.
Let me just pull this away real fast. This is feeder cattle. This is September. Thank you for the request. Keep up comment, obviously. I don't really know what to make of this because you had this big period of consolidation. It gaps, not gaps, but it has this big break from 250 to 240 in a really short amount of time after consolidating for, since the beginning of Q2. This, to me, just feels like it's entered a new area where it's going to consolidate because you have, kind of the next area right here, right? Is this in here. So to me, it's like if you're going to have another leg down, it has to go and break through this area. So I feel like we're due for another one of these types of moves.
Well, I've got the 20-day moving average, the simple moving average on mine, and we, the past 4 days, have touched it and then promptly broken off from that number.
Yeah.
And just trending kind of down. So I agree. It seems like we're going to go test 230 here in the Sep Feeders.
Yeah, it's certainly worth noting that you managed to break through this 250 area right here. After having this period of consolidation, not only did you break through it pretty quickly, but we're also maintaining that break, right? It's not like we just broke through it and then V-bottomed back into this thing. That would be more of a sign of strength than anything. I think that's the sign of kind of potential for perpetual weakness here is the fact that you broke through it to the downside and then maintained it, right? And so the next step is, I think this, you get a 230 or lower close here to your point, and I think you get another kind of trade like this where we go from down $10, right? And it's just it's like that in really quickly, I think. But that close below this right here needs to happen first, and the market clearly was happy to bounce right off of that.
Yeah, looking at it a weekly, as I said, I just checked out a weekly and a monthly, and I don't know. It's got a little bit of support there at 240 on a weekly.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I agree. Like the longer term stuff is certainly not telling you that we have to roll over really hard just yet.
Right.
It's kind of waiting. The market needs to wait for that confirmation, I think, before you get a
Right.
really aggressive move. And then I think, ultimately, if that were to be the case, I think it has a number of periods of breaks and consolidation. But I think the next stop would be this area right here. And if you can get through that, then all of this is in jeopardy. But there's plenty of room. Right? I mean, this thing really took off after it got over 200, but it hasn't been a straight shot. There's been plenty of vol. This kind of looks like cheese,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Just
just
like
like the
ripping
same
around.
thing.
But yeah, no, I think your point on the weekly is, I think it's great. I mean, like, you got to get through this. Here's something that's interesting, by the way. Something else to be mindful of. Is this one of your favorites? What if we just consolidate here and actually start to climb ourselves back above 250?
So you're making higher lows than higher highs is all that we've pretty much done.
Yeah, it's kind of at a pivotal moment here, right? I mean, if you get this breakthrough, I think you got to sell it with both hands. But until you do, it's like kind of in jeopardy of almost like, you're selling it a little early. And then what if you do get like this holds as a higher low, or just even like starts to make a bit of a W?
I mean, don't you think down here, just looking at the chart, even on a daily, it's going to be hard for people to just sell with both hands being down at contract lows for September?
I hear what you're saying, but like the price is, I mean, if we go back and look at like a monthly, the price is kind of unprecedented too. I mean, like,
Right.
I think about it along the lines of like, if milk goes and trades like $25 and then goes from 25 to 23 or something like that.
Yeah. That's a good
And you're
point.
like, well, I can't really sell it at 23. It's like, well, we've experienced 14 too. So
Right.
I hear what you're saying. So to me, it's like, I think that area that we talked about here, this 235, 232-ish, depending on which contract you're looking at, is a really key area. It keeps coming up. So yeah, break through that. I think you got to sell it with both hands. If you can't, and you just keep consolidating and maybe get multiple touches of that, and then you get a climb back above 250, I think now you're starting to talk about, well, I mean, this stuff starts to come back into play. Maybe not for Sep, because Sep will be closed by then, or theoretically it should be. But if you start talking about like October, for example, you get through, let's say you break, can't get through this low and come back. Now you're talking about getting back into some of this stuff.
Right.
Like, 265, even 270. But yeah, I think that area is key. Get a break through that price. I think you just got to close your eyes and sell it.
Yeah. And like you said, looking at it a monthly, we're still above 2014 numbers as we sit right now, even with the downward, slide that we've recently had the past couple months. So it's all perspective at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the only thing to think of is Michigan State going to win the national championship this year?
Oh, well, we're in a 12-team playoff. There's always a chance. We got a new coach, new quarterback. We got a game coming up this weekend. Easy game, I'd say, but never count out college football as we go.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold out hope for the U of I, University of Idaho, winning the national championship this year, but like you said, there's a chance.
There's a chance. There's always a chance with everything that's changed on the whole landscape. There is always a chance. I guess the best thing is there should be more pizzas eaten, more walking tacos, which means more cheese out the door.
Mm-hmm. Get stocked up.
I'm excited. Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for us on Tech Talk, everyone. We will be with you next Tuesday. Hopefully recap a little college football, talk about some more charts. Thank you, Tiffany and Wisco Phil, for sending in some charts you'd like to see. If anyone else has any, please email us, give us a call, let us know. We'd love to take a peek at them. Until next Tuesday, have a great long weekend. Watch some football. Enjoy the weather. We'll see you next time.